I'm sorry, Tony, but he's my friend. So was I. Hello and welcome to Waz Watch. Today we will be taking a look at the biggest movie to kind of kick off the blockbuster summer season, and that is Captain America Civil War. Just a quick warning, this is completely spoiler-free territory. I may do a spoiler-filled review later, but this one won't give away any major plot points, and if I happen to, I will give you a fair warning. So this is spoiler-free if you have not seen the movie. These are just my overall thoughts of if I liked the movie, what I liked the movie, what I didn't like about the movie, and so on. Captain America Civil War was directed by Anthony Russo and stars Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., and Scarlett Johansson, along with a ton of other people. This is basically Avengers 2.5, I guess, like 2.5. And it follows the story of the Winter Soldier and what happens kind of after the events of the Avengers, Age of Ultron, and Winter Soldier. Now, there was a lot of hype around this movie just because it was basically like an Avengers movie. Yes, it's a Captain America movie and a Captain America sequel, but you had Ant-Man, Scarlet Witch, Vision, you had Black Panther coming out, Spider-Man, you had a ton of other superheroes that were supposed to be inside of this film besides just Captain America. One thing I did really like about it, though, is it is a Captain America sequel, or threequel, or whatever you want to call it. But it follows Captain America the First Avenger, then the Winter Soldier, and now this. It's a continuation of that story, and even though it wraps up Avengers characters and includes other Avengers characters, the heart of the film is still a Captain America movie. I really enjoyed this movie. I'll get to the things that I did like about it because there are a ton of them, but first just a quick few critiques. To start off, I wasn't a huge fan of about the first 45 minutes. And not to say that it was a bad 45 minutes, but it felt a little bit slow. We kick off really exciting with this chase scene on foot. You see the Avengers in action trying to stop the bad guys. And that kind of kicks off the whole plot of the film. But because you have to set up a lot of this, it's a little bit slow. It's a lot of people talking to each other, debating morals and ethics and what they're responsible for and what responsibility do they have to the world as superheroes and how much of that needs to be in check. What are the pros and cons of all of those different things, which is good and it's fundamental, but it felt a little bit slow. There is a scene that kicks it off, and for me that is the airport scene. I won't give away too many details, but that's sort of where everything kind of collides and hits the fan. So that was, from that point on, I really loved the movie, and then I liked the movie up till that point. Another thing I was not a big fan of in this movie was the villain. As you guys know, if you've watched several of my videos, is I love villains. Villains, I feel, make a movie really good. And I am torn back and forth about this villain. Without giving away too much, I just didn't think he was the level of villain that I wanted for this movie. I think that they could have shot a little bit higher, but I think they may have been afraid that that might have muddied the waters, that they had so much other stuff that they had to get in with so many characters and so many plot points and so many setups that they were a little bit concerned that if they added a big name villain to this, if they added a really epic villain to this, that it might just bog it down a little bit more, which I could see. But coming from a fan of villains, I liked certain aspects of it, but I was a little bit disappointed with the end payoff and all of the villainy that kind of came with that. What I did like about this movie was basically everything else. It had amazing fight scenes, especially the airport scene. That was by far probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen in a superhero movie. I really liked how they told a story. In the back of my brain, obviously, a lot of us are comparing this to Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, and rightfully so. They're very similar, where you have good guys fighting against each other for different ideals. I like the overall villain of Batman v Superman, more than Civil War, but I liked the reasoning behind the fighting more in this one. I think that they did a really good job of solid storytelling, and you felt that struggle. And I feel like a part of that was because you've seen the relationship between Iron Man and Captain America over the years. Not that they have disliked each other, I mean, they have their moments, but overall, that there's always been this friction, but we're on the same side sort of a thing. While in Batman v Superman, it was two people who completely did not know each other, and that's why they didn't understand each other. While this one, they understand each other. They know the other, I guess, opponent very well. And not just because they have researched them, but just in the fact that they have fought with them side by side for so long. And that makes it a lot better of a conflict. I feel like it ended pretty awkwardly, I would say. I don't know if that's potentially a setup for future movies, but it was much more tangible. It was much more, I understand why they are fighting, I understand why they are angry at each other, and why they do the things that they do. This basically was an Avengers movie. There was a lot of really cool fight scenes, and it was cool to see them kind of go against each other instead of working all together. But then at the same time, each individual team working together to fight the other team that is working together. That was really cool to see. Overall, from a storytelling standpoint, I don't think this one was as strong as Winter Soldier, but it was still incredibly good. I thought it had a very solid plot. The motivations were very good. They were able to juggle a lot of different storylines all together really well and kind of put the entire Marvel Universe together. There was a few kind of cop-outs, which we see in these movies, but I feel like there was a lot less, like explaining why there's no Thor, there's no Hulk, but there's everybody else. They do a little bit better, and they at least address it, but they do a really good job of kind of putting that all together. One other minor critique that I had is the Civil War storyline is a very huge storyline, and I feel like maybe they didn't get as much as they could have. Even though I hate when people do part one, part two, this was definitely something that could have been a two-part movie, and kind of built on this a little bit more, but I understand why they had to make it in one movie. And then maybe a lot of these things will bleed into Infinity Wars and the other movies that are coming out. If you like the previous Captain America movies or are a big fan of Marvel, then you will love this movie. This is a lot of fan service, but still really solid storytelling with a conflict that you can understand. And even though they struggled a little bit of how to wrap it up, I'm not entirely sure how they could have done it much better. So, across the board, very good film with very minor critiques. And overall, I cannot harm the movie that much in its rating based on those critiques. With all that being said, I really enjoyed this movie. I think that you should see it, especially if you are a Marvel Avengers fan. This is basic requirements. This is not one that you can miss, and it is a very good film. I loved this movie. I will see it again, and I encourage you to see it. Overall, I'm going to give Captain America Civil War an A. Great superhero movie, great movie overall, regardless of superhero or not, and I would really recommend that you go see it. Also, our question of the day is, which team are you on? Are you Team Captain America or Team Iron Man? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to these videos. We really do appreciate when you do that. Let us know what you thought in the comments down below. I'm Matt Wasbinski, and thank you so much for watching. Editing the video and filming the stuff. Captain America, Iron Man. Captain America vs. Iron Man. And then there's Spider-Man. And then there's Black Panther. And then there's Scarlet Witch. And then there's Black Widow. And there's a lot of other people like Ant-Man too. And then there's Iron Man again. And then there's other guys as well. So many people, I cannot even keep them straight. Cannot even keep them straight. 'Cause there's so many of them, yeah.